Hi, and welcome to Dave's Think Tank, also known as Dave's 5-Minute Think Tank, also known as Dave's $5 Think Tank. From some of the replies I've been receiving, it appears many of you don't really get what I'm offering here. Let me try to be more clear. I'm not looking for large corporations, I'm not looking for big governments as clients. Dave's Think Tank offers a service specifically geared to you, the common working man and woman. At our rock bottom prices, we're looking to help anyone, anywhere, with the problems you're having in your everyday jobs. Let me give you an example. One of you common people out there is responsible for designing toasters. And I hope you're watching because you're not doing a very good job. This is my own toaster, and it's pretty much identical to the toaster my parents had in their kitchen in the 1960s. Oh, there's some minor improvements. For example, this one's made out of some kind of plastic instead of the metal they used to have that would occasionally melt the Wonder Bread logo off the bread bag, permanently branding the design to its side and giving your parents something to hold against you forever because that toaster was a wedding gift from Aunt Gladys in 1953. They couldn't make toasters from plastic back then, I guess, because the only plastic we had would have melted into a pile of goo on your kitchen table in those days. This one is also much more streamlined than the one my parents had. I'm sure it must have performed very well in the wind tunnel tests. Now over here, you've added a couple of buttons. One here says cancel, and if you push it, the toaster stops toasting. Our version of the cancel button in the old days, we used to call it pulling out the plug. The other button is labeled bagel, and it doesn't do much. It saves energy, I guess, by not heating the crust side of the bagel. This, I guess, is for those of you who like bagels and are into saving meaningless amounts of electricity. So that's it. That's the result of 50 years of research and development into toaster tech. You've managed to solve the toaster wind shear problem and two other issues nobody ever thought of or cared about. Meanwhile, the major problems of toasting continue with complete disregard from the toast industry. So how does this work? Everyone knows you. You put a piece of bread in here, you pop it down, and when it's done, it pops back up to where you can reach it. But what if you put anything else in the toaster? Nothing else that anyone puts in a toaster is bread-shaped, and it's all too short to reach once it's popped up. So every morning, I end up having to reach carefully through a maze of superheated wires in order to grab the edge of a burning hot bakery product with the tips of my fingers, hoping to raise it up just one more inch where I can snatch it and drop it as quickly as possible before giving myself second-degree burns. The other example of stupid design is actually the reason I originally bought this toaster. You see, our old toaster had a dial, just like this one, except it was numbered from 0 to 10. The 0 setting, well, that was just stupid. It was designed for people who wanted a place to store their bread for a few seconds, then to have it returned completely unchanged about a minute later. 1, 2, and 3 weren't much better. They returned you a piece of bread that wasn't quite warm enough to melt butter. Now 4, 5, and 6, that's where the real action was. Although you had to be incredibly precise because a little too low and you just wasted 3 minutes on a piece of hot bread, and just a little too high and you'd end up scraping off all the black bits into the sink. 7 through 10, though, they were an absolute disaster, unless your intent was to produce a charred piece of bread suitable for use as a charcoal briquette at your next barbecue. So when I saw this, I was excited. The timer here, don't know if you can see that, but it goes from 1 to 6, completely eliminating the useless 0 and the even more useless 7 through 10. They still had 1, 2, and 3, but how much progress can you expect from these guys in 50 years? Except when I got it home, I found out they pulled a reverse spinal tap on me. This is the exact same dial, except renumbered. The only difference is I needed to use up a month's worth of bread to figure out instead of 4 to 6, the new magic numbers were 3 1/4 through 4 1/2. So I would have thought, the 1960s being the space age, that maybe you might have been inspired to solve some of man's great toasting challenges, especially since that was your job. Then the 70s, 80s, and 90s came along. They were the computer age, but nothing there seemed to motivate you either. Now it's the internet age, and I think it's finally time you figured out how to give us the future space toast that we've been waiting for your entire working lifetime. I've had enough disappointments in this life. I never had a flying car. I never got to wear a silver jumpsuit. I never sent my kids to school in a pneumatic tube. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. What you do is, you want to take one of these babies. Okay. And install it right here in the side of the toaster. So it's filming your bread as it toasts. Then you can watch on the screen here, or maybe you plug this end into your iPad, or even better yet, you hook it up to Bluetooth. So I can sit over there at the kitchen table and catch up on email while I occasionally swipe into the Toast app and check how it's doing. And you zoom in and check out the grains. And when it's done, you tap the screen a couple of times and the toast pops. Now that's what I call toasting in the age of the internet. Okay, so that's it for today. If you're a toaster design technician and you use my idea to build the world's first e-toaster, just put $5 in an envelope and mail it to Dave's Think Tank. And if anyone else out there feels they need help getting their job done, please leave your thoughts and questions in the comments below.